So guys, I'd like to begin this video with the weather. Reporting in Marbella, currently miserable, and it has been for the last 4 days. What's going on guys? I hope you're all doing well. As you just seen, the weather right now is no better than England. It has been pissing down for the last 3 days straight, and my lord, I cannot wait for it to pass. I feel like my mood's gone a little bit boring. I feel like my mood's changed because the weather. Anyway, let's get to it. Guys, hope you're all doing well. So in this video today, you've maybe thought that you want to move abroad, you want to explore the world, you want to get away from your hometown, right? And I know it's a scary feeling because I've done it myself. So I wanted to share some stuff with you in this video, some tips, and advice. I don't know how many tips I am going to be doing, but it'll say on the video, because when I made this video, I just thought of these on the top of my head. All right, but we're going to start with number one. Okay, so number one, we're going to talk about money in the bank. Now, it's a topic that obviously needs discussing, because how much money do you need in the bank when you move away, when you go into a new country and stuff like that? Now, I'm only going to speak for Marbella here, but Marbella isn't exactly, you know, Thailand where it's all very cheap. It's quite similar to the UK. I wouldn't say it's similar to London. Depends where you go, obviously. There are some expensive parts, some clubs, some restaurants and stuff like that, but overall, it's a relatively fair-priced town. So, in terms of money in the bank, I would always say you need enough money to cover 3 months' rent, okay? Now, if you come over here and go to an Airbnb, you're gonna be tied into 0 contracts, which is great because obviously if you run out of money after the first month and decide to pack up and go back home, then there's not gonna be a problem. Now, if you sign a contract with an estate agent or do it privately like we did, then you might run into some problems if you just up and leave, but you know, just make sure that you've got everything set in stone. And like I say, 3 months rent, and I'd say around a couple of £100, I don't know, depends how much you spend and depends what your lifestyle's like, but let's just say £300 to £500 per month spending money. Because when you first move away, you are gonna be going out a lot and doing stuff like that. So I don't know, maybe in the range of sort of £2,000 to £5,000 is always a nice amount to have in the bank just to keep you secure. Okay, that brings me on to number 2, having work lined up. Is it important to have work lined up, or is it just good to go there and hope for the best? Now, I want to tell you a funny story. I came over here doing a lot of online coaching, and you've seen in my previous videos, I came over here as an online coach. Now, I was a PT for years, which obviously meant that I'm coaching clients one-to-one, and then I transitioned online during the lockdown, during the pandemic, like a lot of PTs did. But again, with every single PT in the world also doing the same as me, it got quite competitive online, and with little experience in the online fitness industry, I did struggle a little bit to make a decent living, and you know what, like I just lost passion for it, and that is just the truth. And I still love training myself, absolutely love it, will never go a day without training unless I'm resting, but overall, I would say that, you know, I moved over here with this and I transitioned into becoming a videographer. Now I know that just sounds random, but I actually did have quite a bit of experience previous to moving here with video work, editing and stuff like that. But I recently heavily invested in a lot of new equipment, which has led me to build business. Now, something about me, I'm quite good at talking to people, which will lead me on to my third one in just a minute. But what I say is, if you have no work lined up, it's always good to make some connections before you come here. Which brings me on to number 3, meeting people and making new friends. So how do you do it? What is the best way to do it? Well, first of all, it's super important that you make some friends when you move away and you make connections and you do as much networking as possible. That is absolutely, this is probably my most, you know, favored point, to be honest, because it's what I've done, and I've always been able to put myself out there and, you know, meet people and network and build a relationship with someone. And to be honest, I've built a massive network in a small period of time. I'm not going to say I know everybody in Marbella, but where I live in my area and the gym that I go to, I've managed to build up quite a heavy connection base, and I've met a lot of friends through that, which ultimately has led me into, you know, I said I switched profession, so the videography. So I was able then to get a lot of clients quite quickly through that, and I've been able to build up that business from 1 job every 2 weeks to sort of 2 to 3 jobs per week videoing people, which is bringing me a nice income now. And of course, in the future, I mean, this is during a pandemic in winter, so in the future, it's looking very bright for me to hopefully make some real good connections and film some real big people in the industry in Marbella. Next point is accommodation. All right, so I did touch sort of base on it before, but let me give you a bit more of an insight. So I used a company called Idealista. So what I used this for was to find an apartment for 12 months. So ultimately that gets the rental per month a lot cheaper than it would for an Airbnb. We did move here in summer, so it wasn't actually that much cheaper, but overall, you know, we're not paying a bad price for where we are. It's a nice apartment, 2 bedrooms, and it's €900, which is fair. And then I know a few people that have moved over here, they've got sort of 1 to 2 bedroom apartments as well, but they're quite expensive and they're not in great areas. They're not very well looked after apartments through Airbnb. Now, the good thing is about Airbnb though is you're not tied into a contract like we are. So the thing is with the contract is that, you know, if you pull out early, you might be liable to pay some charges, or I don't know what Spanish people are like. They might take you to court if they are dicks, but anyway. So yes, if you are coming over here, try it out first, right? Go to a city, maybe try it out for a month first. I know a lot of people that have came over here for 1 or 2 months, they've sort of like, you know, been like, you know what, we've totally loved this place and we're gonna stay here. Now, I didn't do that actually, to be honest. I just came over here and just thought, you know what, we're gonna stay here. Let's just go in, balls deep, and we did, and well, it's worked out pretty well, okay? The last point, I think this is number 5, I'm gonna talk about is, I already talked about the networking side of things, making friends, but I actually just wanted to say how important that actually is, because I know some people that have came over here and they've, you know, they felt a bit like homesick, and the problem is when you don't go out and put yourself out there and meet people, then ultimately you're gonna feel quite alone, right? You know, that's just what we're like, humans. If you don't want to be on your alone all the time and you came over here as a single person, it can get difficult, right? So I've seen people and they've just wanted to go home. Like, the problem is if you aren't putting yourself out there and making connections and meeting friends, then let's be honest, you're gonna find this a very lonely place, trust me. I'm on about Marbella here, and I know that it will be like this everywhere in the world. Without the friends and connections I've built, I would probably feel pretty damn miserable here. You know, moving away to a different country where people you don't speak the native language, and it can get very lonely quickly. So they're my 5 tips, guys. I mean, that's what I've learned in the 6 months I've been in Marbella. If you're thinking about coming to Marbella, then honestly, it's a fantastic place and I absolutely love this place. I've met some amazing people. I plan on staying here as probably, well, I can't say, you know, life will just take its pathway and I will just go with the flow. All right, guys, if you've got any other questions or requests on what videos you want me to make, because I have no idea what you guys like, it just seems to be that the Marbella videos do better than all the rest of the videos. So if you've got any, I don't know, questions, just fire them in the comments below, and of course, drop a little subscribe. All right, awesome, guys. Thank you very much.